We are here to talk about the end of the 2014 Eastern Iowa Wrestling Club year. Basically, the guys that are going to Fargo are continuing to train right now, and the guys that are not, their last workout is going to be on July 7, and that doesn't mean that they're going to be off the mat or should be off the mat. What it means is that they're going to be on their own. So you guys that are not going to Fargo, make sure that you're continuing to get your lifting. Make sure you're continuing to work on your conditioning. Make sure you're continuing to be on the mat. It doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't have to be a long time. In fact, if I was your coach, I would say that you shouldn't be on the mat for a long time right now. I know there's a lot of parents and other coaches out there that will go crazy between now and next fall. But really, this is a time to get bigger. As God lets your body or has your body grow from that point of view, and it's a time to get stronger in the weight room. It's time to get better on the wrestling mat from a really, really low stress, stressful environment. So you're working on new techniques. You're spending 20, 30 minutes a time, 3 times a week, for a total of an hour and a half or so per week. With your wrestling, and this should continue for 6 weeks or so, where you're able to enjoy yourself out there running and playing. If you're out on the trampolines, you're doing balance things when you don't even know it. You're out in the rivers swimming. You're in the lakes. You're rowing boats. You're mowing yards. You're whatever it is that you're doing, make sure that you're proactive with that stuff, because it's important that you are playing catch with a football, you're playing catch with a baseball, you're kicking a soccer ball, you're kicking a football, you're doing the things that you need to do to be a kid, even if you're in high school, because those things are good for your joints, it's good for your motor skills, it's good for your flexibility. It's good for your body and your soul to become in tune with one another. That philosophy may be a little different than other places, and maybe even in your own household, but we here at Eastern Iowa Wrestling really encourage you to take a look at that. Not saying take a long time off the mat. So if you're the other way, where you're completely away from the sport, then get back on board and get busy on the wrestling mat. The guys that are going to Fargo, we have some. Well, actually, we have 2 guys that are going to the World Championships. Drew West and is it Bryce West or Drew West? I think it's Drew West. It's one of the West twins, and then Carter Happel. So we have those 2 guys that are going to Snina, Slovakia, to wrestle here in the next. They're leaving in about a week. And they are going to wrestle in the World Championships overseas. And those are things that we talked about a couple years ago when we started the club, when we started talking about, you got to get ready to wrestle the Russian. You got to get ready to beat the Iranian and, win in an adverse environment or win in adverse conditions. And so that's where we're at now. That has come to fruition with those 2 guys making those teams and continuing along their journey of fulfilling their aspirations of becoming NCAA world and Olympic gold medalists. So that's a big step for them, and they need to continue that training, and they obviously will. They're going to be going to Colorado to a training camp, and they will be getting what they need as they prepare for that event. The guys that are going to Fargo, just because we're breaking on the 7th of July doesn't mean that we're not going to have our hands on you. It doesn't mean that we're not going to see you. That will continue. You guys get what you need in your home communities, as we always say, and then we'll be having special workouts for those individuals. It'll be a small, tight-knit group of guys before you leave for camp on around the 13th of July, going to Camp Dodge in Des Moines, Iowa for that Fargo camp. So there's a lot going on there, but the busyness of it is, really us trying to get you as members to understand the philosophy. There's times to work out, and there's times to to rest and get better. And that's important that you get that. And we put out a few videos on what our philosophy is. And if you have any questions, you can call Coach Kelly's number. You can call Joe Slaton, or you can call myself and get a hold of any one of us, and we'll be happy to help you through that. Again, we encourage you to seek out other wrestling opportunities. We encourage you to be involved with USA Wrestling and go into camps, whether it's here at Iowa or other camps, and enhancing your wrestling opportunities. Doing that with other clubs that are, whether they're local or whether they're not local. Just really, expanding and reaching out and extending your wrestling opportunities and getting better every day as a human being, but obviously as a wrestler, but also as a person. So that's where we're at. Look for an email, look for a text that will key you into an email coming in the 1st of July. The 1st of August, that first week in August sometime. That will lay out the parameters for next year's club going forward. We have a waiting list started already, and guys that were members this year, you will have, in the order that you joined, you will have first right to that club. So you guys that are, that paid the membership dues, and you were current on that one-time fee, you're going to have first, opportunity if you want back in. And if you don't, then we wish you the best, and we'll see you on the wrestling mats. So appreciate it from Joe Slaton, Jim Kelly, and myself. We really appreciate your loyalty and, more importantly, the parents' trust in us, as a club and a staff.